recruit a team of teenagers with attitudes.
If you grew up in the 90s, you remember Power Rangers like it was yesterday. I mean, come on, go Power Rangers! You rushed home from school to catch the latest episode, practiced those morphing poses in your bedroom mirror, it's morphin' time, and probably begged your parents for that expensive Megazord toy at Toys R Us. I got one. You might think you know everything about those colorful heroes from Angel Grove, but the real story behind this massive franchise is completely insane. Here are 10 weird facts about Power Rangers that will blow your mind and change how you see this iconic show forever. Number 10. Most of what you watched in those early episodes wasn't actually filmed in America, which sounds impossible, but it's true. Producer Hayao Saban bought the rights to a 1992 Japanese show called Kyoru Sentai Zyuranger and basically cut and pasted the monster battles directly into brand new American high school footage. An average episode only had about 10 minutes of actual American content, while everything else came straight from Japan. Rita's Moon Palace, every single Megazord fight, all the monster battles, it was all Japanese footage from 1992.
I'm surprised, teenagers! So you think you can stop me, do you? And those stupid putties are getting beaten by a bunch of pimple-faced nitwits!
The American writers had to watch each Japanese episode first, pick out the action scenes they liked, then write completely new storylines around them. It was like doing a jigsaw puzzle backwards, while blindfolded, and somehow it worked. This created massive problems that nobody talks about, like helmets that wouldn't match up properly between American and Japanese shots. Japanese stuntmen did all the fighting, while American actors handled the talking parts, and you were basically watching two different shows at the same time without realizing it. Number 9. There's a secret season that most fans never discovered, and is one of the weirdest stories in television history. By 1994, the American writers had burned through all 50 episodes of the original Japanese show, but Fox Kids demanded more Power Rangers content immediately. So Saban made this incredible deal with Toei, the Japanese studio, where they would reassemble the original stunt crew to film 25 brand new monster battles exclusively for American audiences. Fans call this hidden collection Zoo 2, and it's basically a lost season that was filmed on another continent.
I'm here, Zordon.
The only way to save your friends is to outsmart the Rhino Blaster.
Tell me what to do. I'll do whatever it takes to save them, Zordon.
Picture Japanese stuntmen who thought they were done with Power Rangers suddenly getting called back to work, putting on sweaty, outdated costumes just so American kids could see fresh monster battles. The continuity became absolutely insane because now editors had to match brand new Japanese footage with old Japanese footage and new American footage all at the same time. If you ever wondered why some monsters seemed to reappear randomly, or why the Megazord's battle damage would mysteriously vanish between scenes, Zoo 2 explains everything. Number 8. Trini, the yellow Power Ranger, didn't have a skirt like Kimberly's Pink Ranger outfit, and there's a simple but very weird reason for this. In the original Japanese series, the Yellow Ranger was actually a male character named Boy, who was built like a guy with a masculine costume design. When Saban cast Vietnamese-American actress Thuy Trang to play the American Yellow Ranger, they kept the existing male costume instead of making a new one and reshooting every single fight scene.
Yes, you see, I do have honor, Mantis.
Perhaps. Yeah. But honor will not save you from destruction.
The result was pretty hilarious if you knew what to look for, because you'd see Thuy's small frame in civilian clothes, then suddenly broad shoulders and very masculine proportions when she morphed. Most of us kids just thought spandex was weird and didn't question it, but this accidental gender swap actually ended up being pretty progressive. Tomboy fans got a heroine who wasn't defined by frills or skirts, which was incredibly rare in 90s girl-focused entertainment. Number 7. Years before Bryan Cranston became famous as Walter White in Breaking Bad, he was paying his bills by doing voice work for monster characters in Power Rangers.
I got a job dubbing some of the dialogue from Japanese into English, the monsters and things. You will not escape me. You know, that kind of thing.
His most memorable roles were as Snizzard, a villain with an apple for a head, and Twin Man, a monster who can make copies of himself. The producers were so impressed with Cranston's voice acting that they actually named the Blue Ranger Billy Cranston after him. So every time David Yost shouted about Blue Ranger power, he was carrying the name of the guy who once voiced fish-headed monsters for scale wages. The story came full circle in 2017 when Bryan Cranston returned to Power Rangers as the voice and face of Zordon in the big-budget movie. That's a 24-year journey from nameless monster voice work to the literal head of the Rangers, with multiple Emmy Awards earned along the way. Number 6. Walter Emmanuel Jones, who played the Black Ranger, is missing his left middle finger, which he lost in a childhood accident years before he became famous. Directors had to choreograph every single fight sequence to hide this, but dedicated fans who freeze-framed their VHS tapes eventually spotted the missing finger. If you look closely during Black Ranger fight scenes, you'll see him curl his left hand into a curved position to hide the absent digit. It created some practical challenges too, because prop weapons needed specialized grip adjustments, and the toy morphers had trigger fingers that Jones himself didn't have. For kids who were very aware of physical differences, discovering that one of their heroes quietly dealt with his own physical challenge was actually pretty inspiring.
Mastodon!
Zack could still execute perfect hip-hop Kaido moves with only 4 fingers on one hand, proving that being different doesn't stop you from being awesome. Number 5. The bumbling bully duo, Bulk and Skull, were originally supposed to be one-season joke characters like the typical mean kids you'd see in Saved by the Bell, but actors Paul Schreier and Jason Narvey had incredible chemistry together, combining classic Three Stooges slapstick with perfect comedic timing.
Bulky, why can't we have joined the Boy Scouts?
Quiet, dog boy, or he's gonna hear us. Ah! I can be your best friend, boys.
They created elaborate food fights and pratfalls that had kids quoting their lines as much as the actual Rangers catchphrases. The producers realized these goofy villains were just as popular as the heroes, so they kept them around for an incredible 10 seasons. They outlasted multiple Red Rangers and hold the record for appearing in the most Power Rangers episode of any human characters in franchise history. Bulk and Skull even got their own music career, releasing a ska band cassette tape in 1994 that you could actually buy at Tower Records. These lovable misfits represented the best of 90s scene-stealing sidekicks, just like Steve Urkel or Kimmy Gibbler. Number 4. Here's something that might shock you about this massive cultural phenomenon that dominated toy aisles across America. The original Power Rangers cast was making about $600 per week with no extra money from reruns or merchandise sales. They had non-union Screen Actors Guild contracts, while the show was generating millions in toy sales and syndication revenue. The actors had to film up to 6 episodes simultaneously, with constant costume changes between scenes, and most of them did their own stunts because proper stunt doubles cost too much money. On-set medics regularly treated heat strokes inside foam monster suits, and the pyrotechnics were designed for Japanese stuntsmen's physiques, creating dangerous conditions. When Austin St. John, Walter Emmanuel Jones, and Thuy Trang tried negotiating for better wages in 1994, the talks collapsed completely and all 3 quit mid-season.
We wanted to stand up for ourselves because we felt like we were being bullied and we felt like we deserved more and that we had earned the right to be treated like professional actors.
That awkward peace conference storyline where Jason, Zack, and Trini suddenly had to leave Angel Grove wasn't creative storytelling, it was a televised labor dispute. Number 3. The Day of the Dumpster episode that premiered on Fox Kids wasn't actually the first Power Rangers episode they filmed. The original 1992 pilot featured a completely different actress named Audrey Dubois as Trini, and the whole show had a more 80s aesthetic with neon windbreakers everywhere. Rita's henchmen looked cheaper, and Zordon appeared as a translucent blob instead of the later glowing head design that we all remember.
Why can't I depend on you, you dweebs? This is all your fault! And yours too, you overgrown blueberry!
Test audiences liked the basic concept, but network executives demanded major changes, including more ethnic diversity in the cast and less adult humor. So they did a complete reshoot with Thuy Trang as the new Trini, redesigned all the sets including Ernie's juice bar, and created that new theme song that mixed heavy metal guitar with synthesizer perfection. This makes Power Rangers one of the few 90s shows where the unaired pilot isn't just rough draft material, but basically an alternate universe version of the show. The original footage finally surfaced on DVD collections decades later, like discovering a lost treasure at a flea market. Number 2. When Alpha 5 beeped out his famous "ay ay 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 ay" catchphrase, that voice belonged to Richard Stephen Horvitz.
Wow! Ay 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 ay!
Who had been doing voice work for toy commercials since the 80s. But here's where it gets really interesting for those of us who grew up and discovered darker cartoons as teenagers. In 2001, Horvitz voiced the manic alien Invader Zim on Nickelodeon, which means the cheerful robot assistant who helped teenagers save the world later became a character plotting to destroy the Earth. Fans who grew up with Power Rangers and then found Invader Zim as teenagers had their minds completely blown when they realized it was the same voice actor. It's a perfect example of how our entertainment evolved as we did, with the same person who voiced the helpful innocent Alpha 5 later bringing to life one of the most cynical and chaotic characters in animation history. This voice actor connection perfectly bridges that gap between Saturday morning cartoon innocence and teenage angst. Number 1. While American parents worried about kids copying karate moves in their backyards, several countries took much more extreme action against our beloved Rangers. New Zealand completely banned Power Rangers in 1994, claiming it promoted vigilante justice and was too violent for children. Here's the incredible irony though. New Zealand later became the filming location for multiple Power Rangers seasons starting with 2003's Ninja Storm, bringing millions of dollars to the local economy that once rejected the franchise.
Lothor's army is attacking. You must intercept them. Call on your powers by saying Ninja Storm, Ranger Form.
Canada's broadcasting standards forced editors to cut any use of the word die from episodes, so Rita's death threats became much tamer "you'll be sorry" lines. Mexico redubbed Zack's hip-hop slang into neutral Spanish, while Malaysia's censors were concerned that morphin sounded too much like morphine and moved the show to late-night time slots. The weirdest part of all this censorship is that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie was a massive hit in theaters worldwide in 1995, even in countries that had banned the TV show. Governments quickly realized that toy merchandise revenues and box office numbers were more important than moral panic, and most of the bans were quietly repealed. It's peak 90s irony that a franchise about teamwork survives censorship by uniting worldwide toy aisles in capitalist harmony. So there you have it, 10 completely insane facts about Power Rangers that reveal the chaos behind one of the biggest franchises in entertainment history. This wasn't just a simple kids show filling time between Saturday morning cartoons and afternoon homework. It was a bizarre mix of cultures, budget shortcuts, labor disputes, and pure accidents that somehow created lightning in a bottle. Next time you hear that classic guitar riff, remember all the incredible weirdness that went into making those colorful heroes a reality for an entire generation.